were critical comments made about AEW. It was also a way to generate a ratings boost, which wasn't much of a ratings boost. 812,000 is not much of a ratings boost, especially after where they were this week with the ratings. 762,000 ratings, so I don't know where the interest is coming from, Tony, but it was definitely a ratings ploy to get the ratings up, because Mercedes, even though she's not wrestling, Mercedes hasn't made a lick of a difference. Okada hasn't made a lick of a difference. And Will Ospreay, love Will Ospreay, hasn't made a lick of a difference. To many airing, the footage appears to have backfired on Tony Khan and damaged AEW's reputation more than it did any harm to Punk. Speaking on the AEW Dynasty media call, which I was not invited to. However, Khan said the show was given a seal of approval from those at TBS. He says, and I quote, "TBS called me and told me, good job. You have to remember, I'm responsible for everybody's job in the company. It is really important for us to please the network and TBS, and they were really happy with that show." Now, Khan's eagerness to please those at TBS, obviously, in my eyes, he's doing what's best for the business, but it looks like he's aiming to please those at TBS and then leave us, the fans, the people who pay their hard-earned money and are going to be the most vocal and critical of the product, for the love of the product. It seems like he's leaving us out of the discussion. 5 years ago, the Tony Khan of old would have taken the fans' criticisms. If he didn't like something, he'd immediately fix it. And now he's looking at the ratings as being the number one indicator that he's doing a good job. Tony, you're not. You didn't. This didn't work. It failed. It flopped. It backfired. There's no interest at all. I don't see where the interest is. I'd love for someone to fucking physically tell me where the interest is in this. There's not. I'd be the first to tell you how great it is. I'd be the first to tell you how good they are going into the pay-per-view. The company is ice fucking cold going into the pay-per-view. The Young Bucks and FTR is ice cold going into the pay-per-view. You used it as a vehicle to manufacture heat where there is none. They got there because they're in a fucking tournament together. I don't understand how many more times I need to document this, go over this with you people. If they wanted to air the footage, they should have aired the footage weeks after it actually happened last year. And now you want to sell me on an FTR and Young Bucks feud where they are going around parading, saying that, oh, we lost the match last year in London to FTR because of this particular instance. Meanwhile, literally a week later, after All In last year, they teamed with FTR to battle the Bullet Club. Or am I going fucking mental?
There you go from JD from NY. You're not going to have me do all these big rants like JD from NY. You know, it seems to be just if you shout and scream, then you can get, 150,000 plus subscribers. But with this stuff, there's some stuff there that he's right on. He is right on. A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. These people that they're bringing in haven't made a difference. Adam Copeland, Mercedes Moné, Okada, who they're supposedly paying $4 million a year, they haven't made a difference to the ratings. And are they making a difference? Are they drawing big houses every week for Dynamite? It's like, no, it's like a quarter full. Like, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, sometimes the business, it can be in a bad place. I went to a house show in 2010, and it was like, I think it was like Kane Drew McIntyre was the title match, and it was like, a third full. But it's the business, well, AEW right now is in pretty bad place with, attendances. WWE seems to be improving. But it's just only Tony Khan seems to think it was a good idea to show the footage. And I think I've noticed that Tony Khan, when something that was done on the show was questionable to the masses, he always seems, is this like a regular occurrence with Tony Khan that he hides behind the whole, the network said it was good, the network praised it? And I'm not saying that isn't true, but it could be just him making it up. But he always seems to fall back behind that. That's the easy defense, right? But it was like, it felt like it was, I don't know what, I mean, could you say it was personal, vindictive with Tony Khan, what he did after the Hawani interview? I don't know. Maybe he just thought it was a good time. People are talking about this stuff. Punk did the interview. He knows Ariel Hawani is a name who gets big views. And he thought, well, do it. Let's just get the footage out there and it'll be good for ratings. But like I said before, in the long run, though, when you're doing these things and it's kind of like out of desperation, it isn't good in the long run at all. Not good at all. And again, people from JD from NY are smart enough to see that. He's maybe a little bit upset over not being invited to these media calls, and I don't know. Again, maybe this is one of these things that Tony Khan's like this. When he hears that some of these podcasters, when they're just even the slightest bit critical of the AEW product, then all of a sudden they don't get invited to these media calls and these scrums. I know JD from NY's been on them before, but it's more, the people like, your Meltzers, your Alvarez, or that Denise Salcedo or whatever. The people that are easy ones that are not going to be critical. The people that they've got in their back pocket. But then JD from NY maybe is a bit critical at times. And, I think the guy's a bit of a dick personally. But he did have some valid points there on this stuff with Tony Khan. And the only thing where I think he's wrong, though, is, well, it is about ratings at the end of the day. Well, I think JD from NY is basically saying, oh, you need to utilize the guys that are like the indie darlings better, or the people, like the Keith Lees and people like that, I think is what he's really trying to say. But I don't know. They do need to make some changes there in AEW. They need to, I think, maybe just find somebody there that's, find somebody like a Nick Khan, and maybe, and then maybe like have other people there that are helping, and it's collaborative effort with the writing and the booking. Tony Khan, I know he may stroke his ego a little bit when he gets these Booker of the Year awards, but Tony Khan's no booker, really. I mean, he might have some good interesting ideas, but he's a business guy, and he's a hardworking guy. I'll give him that. All the work he does with the Jaguars and Fulham, and there's other businesses, he's a very hard-working individual, but some of the things he does are just silly. And he is a wrestling mark. That's well documented now. And definitely is still kind of like that nerdy kid from high school on the inside. But hopefully AEW can bounce back, because it is good for business overall if AEW are going head-to-head. And it's good for the talent as well. There's another place to work. But that's my thoughts on that, guys. So feel free to hit the subscribe button, and let me know what you think. What was your thoughts overall? Was it a bad move in the long run for Tony Khan to have released the backstage footage from All In? And was this ultimately just out of desperation? But that's me for now, guys. Thank you. Bye.